welcome back everybody. We are back and the PSO beta just ended here in North America, and I am here to discuss everything that happened in the beta, my opinion of the beta, the English, the pretty much how the game functioned as a whole, especially with all four legit like official American version of a PSO. So let's go back to the beginning of the beta launch here and discuss everything leading up to the very end. From the very beginning, and yeah, that launch wasn't exactly the best. I guess we'll be putting it mildly, for the most part anyway, because originally the beta was supposed to launch on February 7 at 7 p.m. Central Standard, which is my time zone here, and yeah, for anyone that was around during the beginning of that beta, or hung out in my stream for the full 5 hours, yes, 5 hours, as you can see, one of them cases where we got to do the normal MMO thing to set here, like, you know, match just to try to get in. Let's just say it was 5 long, very hours. Because the problem was, the beta came out, they had only one ship available. So for anyone who's not aware, ships are pretty much servers in PSO. They only had one available. It pretty much got packed full right away, to the point of getting a error method that was totally in Japanese, which would be the fourth hint of it not being 100% translated, which we will get to momentarily. But the beginning of the beta started off with that, which honestly, not really anything new. The only thing that was a little iffy about it is the launch of literally one server. I don't know to the exact extent, but I feel like that it was a quote beta, but let's be honest, it technically wasn't. It was more like, do you care you can enter the beta type of beta situation, since it went through the insider program. And I do not know if the Insider program actually gives information to anyone that is running any of them campaign through the Insider or not. But you would think you would had a number of how many people was actually signing up for the beta and would have prepared, you know, in advance for that. That wasn't exactly the case. The game supposedly functioned, because as I was streaming this, I will pop it in and out of some other streams that were happening over on Twitch. Once again, I will link to the archive below if you want to watch my 40+ hour thoughts of PSO as it was happening in real time. After hopping into a few, it seemed like some people got in no problem, some people got kind of stuck in character creation a little bit, and then other people like myself who wasn't able to get in at all. So about 20-30 minutes into the beta, give or take a little bit there, maybe closer to an hour in, they ended up putting up a second ship, which instantly got clogged up as well. So from what I can gather from my opinion here, it seemed like the game itself, anywhere a second server available, went into another shortcoming, because when you start PSO, it went to an ID tied to indicate the FBOT1, like gamer tag account. The server itself seemed to been, I get the way to put it, being bottleneck. More people were joining, and then a bottleneck began because it couldn't verify people fast enough to keep up with the traffic. So after about another like a 20-ish, give or take minute, I think at that point, once again, I get we more like 2 hours in at that point, give or take. They did a emergency maintenance where they took the servers offline for about 3 hours and fixed it. I get the way to put it. So it was a good amount of time there. Matter of fact, a total of 5 hours there. Well, the game wasn't playable at all. Which, lucky enough, they did give us some time back, which once again we will get to as we get farther down the rabbit hole. 5 hour paths. Got into the beta, everything seemed to have been working just fine. As far as the dub is concerned, it's pretty much the same as any dub. Some characters are better than others. The one thing that was very odd was, of course, some of the lip syncing issues, which mainly was the issue in the beginning of the tutorial stage, where character audio and mouth sync was pretty much non-existent. Audio began out of place. Lip sync kept happening after audio was complete, and so on and so on. I'm not a summoner. I could be a summoner.
Holy shit!
Mount
a phantom blast! Look what it did in just a split second!
All thanks to you two standing firm. Appreciate the help.
Surrounding area secured. We're sending in a
Lucky enough, since the game itself, after all, like in early game anyway, you know, not really a lot of cutscenes, so the majority of the audio desync was mainly in the tutorial. Once it got into the game and people started kind of talking, but not really in full sentences, a lot of the texts are still readable here. That became less of a problem, but it was still very noticeable in the beginning, which was a so-so jarring experience, especially for this being the debut of the dub. Personally, when it came to the dub, I'm kind of non-partial to it, to be totally honest. As far as like the acting skills, some voice choices was a little odd, and some was just like, it's getting the job done. And any more so as we get into one of the event with the idol single that in PSO, which I get we can touch on real quick here. Since in this beta, we did have special event running throughout the whole weekend. Well, every 2 to 3 hour give or take event will be happening for about 30-ish, 40 minutes. Mainly, it was made up of doing 2 major event. One was a group raid called the Cradle of Darkness, which you pretty much went from point A to point B, kill bosses, the normal MMO style of a dungeon. And another one called the Awakening, which was mainly fighting a giant boss that was also a boss you had to fight solo. Well, I get you could technically fight it in a party if you wanted to, but it was a boss that was whipped out of a just single mission not tied to the special event and just placed as a just boss battle as is. I am curious to go back to JPPSO and see if that is the case there as well, or was this a special event that was mainly for the North American release? Cradle of Darkness was actually really fun and really hectic, and I kind of wish there were more stuff like that in the beta, but we got what we got, I guess. Well, the Awakening was more so a very, not a fun fight per se, and also a very quick fight to be taken care of any on some harder settings. And then our other event was called the Idol event. With the Idol event was made up of the idol that in the universe of PSO showing up, performing 2 songs in English, and doing a little bit of talking throughout between each of the songs before and after, which ended up lasting only 15 minutes. And it was a pretty fun event. If you have seen my highlight from that event, or my video covering the whole thing, which link in the card and on screen right now, if you want to go and check that video out, you can experience what I was experiencing and what many other people were experiencing during this event, which it was honestly a very nice, refreshing, and just a fun little distraction within PSO leading into what was supposed to be the finale of the MMO, with a big bad giant boss battle fight that was made up of 2 stages, with one stage lasting 30 minutes where you could fight it. I get ready to put giant hand turtles as many times as you can in 30 minutes to get some loot, and then after that time limit you have a one-shot fight with the second form of the boss, which ended up not realizing at the time you could only do once as far as the second stage was concerned, which kind of was a little disappointing, because the game have it as you level up, you unlock different tiers of difficulty. You know, normal, easy, hard, so on and so on. Beginning level, and then like level 20, 30, and they pretty much go up from there. So lucky enough, we actually did have a second event where we could actually fight this boss, and actually was able to play it on easy, or again, it would be normal and hard. The boss fight is really fun to do, a little short, but once again, I don't know if they like kind of buff everything down for the beta, but it kind of felt like they did a little bit, especially since some of the event were like level 20 plus, and people were running Cradle of Darkness at level 5 or below. Once again, you want to see that video? Also available here on the channel as well. But outside the main events, there was some issue with them. Mainly after the server did come back up, the game pretty much ran fairly decent other than lip syncing issue, and every once in a while the game would lock up for fractions of seconds and some frame loss was happening. But for the most part, other than that, it was running smooth. But once I started getting into the main event, especially in the first 2 days of the beta, it was very touch and go. The game cracked on me more times than I could count or just lock up, and most of the time was mainly when I was doing the time limit dungeons, which is a little frustrating, mainly because you have to do the dungeons if you wanted some exclusive beta content added to your character on launch, and also somebody was actually a pretty quick way to level up to unlock more and more of the gameplay mechanic between unlocking your mag, between sub jobs, and leveling up to do harder and harder missions. The dungeon was a good way to level up, but the crashing kind of interfered with it for the most part. Outside of that experience, the game seemed to work fine on that box. Like, had a overall amount of actual settings as far as changing lighting, shadows, window weights, and that is available any on a non-Fbot 1X. You can do this on a regular VCR style Fbot, which is what I have, as you probably can see back here. Which it was actually quite nice to actually have that kind of control over all the settings. Especially, well, I'm kind of in a camp of when I'm playing my MMOs, I don't need to look the most pretty. I just mainly need them to look like I could actually see what I'm dealing with. Which, lucky enough, PSO actually gave me the option to remove pretty much shadows out wide and other random effects that would make it harder to see what is happening. Once again, that self-preference type of thing, it's fantastic to see the kind of options available on a console release of this. And the other part of the console release, which is probably the biggest part of the beta, other than the 4th time playing PSO in the US officially, was once again the dub. The thing was about the dub and the English as a whole, because it wasn't just the dub. Everything was supposedly in English. All the menus, all the text, all the vocal lines, all of it was in English. But we did have a few points where obviously 1 or 2 places got overlooked. The 4th one being with that error method at the beginning of the beta. And the second one I went into was running around in the casino area of the beta. It was these little bunny girls you could go up and talk to, and they give you advice on how to play, like the mini games you could find in the casino with slots, blackjack, and you know, the normal casino style mini games. But I did run into 2 of them that were not actually voiced at all. Or I guess they just wasn't translated. They were still having the audio of the Japanese version in it, which is not that big of a deal, but you know, it's certain areas you could tell that kind of got looked over, at least for the beta anyway. But with that being said, any of the beta was originally only allowed to be played for like 30 some odd hours. Lucky enough, or not so lucky, depending on how you want to look at this situation, well, thanks to the 4-5 hours of the beta being, well, unplayable, they did in return give us a apology in a way of giving us another, I believe it was 8 hours to make up for it. So the server did go off on Sunday morning around 2 a.m. my time, and then came back up at 7 p.m. on Sunday and went all the way once again to 2 a.m. on Monday. So with the extra time, we got a whole bunch of stuff done. I made it, I believe, to 34 or 35. I ability a handful of the boss battles, and also did pretty much all of the special event content. And yeah, by the end of it, or really not really by the end of it, pretty much about like 5 to 6 hours in after they fixed the problem, it started hitting me of truly how good PSO is. I played the Japanese version mainly as of now to just get my feet wet and to understand like the basics and start making content for you guys to help you guys out with some of the basic stuff as well. But actually being able to play everything, and mainly also helping because when playing the JP version, any with the fan translation, a lot of stuff still wasn't touched upon, and a lot of gameplay mechanics just went over my head originally. But playing it in English, it just shows how good of an MMO this is and how fantastic it is at getting it hooks into you, which it did for me, to the point of dreaming about it and also kind of foaming at the mouth to continue playing it. Lucky enough, we do know that all save data carrying over, and hopefully we will have an open beta here soon. Since at the end of the beta, one of the characters in the lobby did say, see you in the beta or open beta soon, so hopefully that will be in the next few weeks. Finger crossed. As far as the game itself, if you didn't have a chance to check it out, I highly recommend checking out some of my video content here. Then there will be a whole bunch of it coming up here on YouTube over the next few days, while along with some more tutorial news, you know, the normal PSO one-of-the-mill here. I feel like PSO is literally living up to everything I was originally hoping from the little bit I did experience in JP, and pretty much everything I want from an MMO, which is mainly a very social style MMO. That is what it's built upon, of social and doing party stuff right out of the gate and trying to build your character up with many other people. So if you enjoy a very heavy like co-op style MMO, you cannot go wrong with PSO. But if you want to play a single player version of it, you can do so with so many things you can do, upgrade, crafting. Pretty much did Elite did beta out of the gate with pretty much everything that in the game, almost that is available in early game to my knowledge. And after putting in overall, I got over the last, 40-ish hours the beta ended up going. I think I slept for like 7 in them 3 days. So with my time being over like 20, I think it would be more like, 32-ish hours in the beta. I have to say, this is something 100% to check out if you got any interest at all for any type of MMO. And I want to say good job once again to the team over at Epop for getting it going, and of course the team that is taking over the release after the translation, of course the social network stuff. Y'all doing a fantastic job. And I highly, highly recommend following all the releases, might it be through PSO2.com or through following the official Twitter account over at play_PSO. I highly recommend checking out the open beta when they come out. And if you are worried about it being a free-to-play game, most of the microtransaction is not needed other than a few quality of life things such as energy when it comes to crafting, which I will have a video on soon. Other like inventory management or item for pure look. The game is, as of now, it's probably on the same pillar as Pass Exile and Warframe as being one of the best free-to-play games as of now you can play, or will be able to play soon, hopefully. So with that, I think that would do it for my thought. I came out of it just absolutely in love. I went from being excited to being like, this is gonna be good, to just realizing this is honestly way better than I was hoping, and I am in so freaking hard. And also, hopefully in the next few video, you won't mind me having the shake from being or having PSO withdrawal. So bear with me on that one. And once again, if you do want to see all of my PSO beta coverage that will coming out throughout the next few days, make sure you do like, favorite, subscribe. If you want to go watch my archive of my 30-ish plus playthrough of it, I will have a link to, of course, my Twitch account where you can go and watch that. And with that, if you played the beta, let me know in the comment what you thought of it. And if you didn't get to play the beta, are you excited for PSO after playing it when the open beta comes? Let me know in the comments, because I will see you all in the comments. Worship me! Worship me, everybody! Praise me! Jump with me! Dance with me! I love my army. My army of minions. Hey! Get back in the pot! This is my pot.